Good day everyone. Herzlich willkommen. Major Saturday, it's the second or third video right now. And today we're going to discuss Ethereum, for instance. We're going to reflect again on XLM. We're going to check out Cardano, as there has not been tweeted much about that one, as it's just consolidating right now. But as you can see, the title is based on Ethereum, in which I state that Ethereum could run to 500 to 1k. Well, from a fundamental perspective, if you have seen the previous video in which I've stated that Ethereum could make a heavy run towards 300 or higher, which was a video when we were still at 170, I've been discussing that there are massive opportunities for crypto, DeFi, everything related to a new ecosystem for our monetary system, in which Ethereum can become one of the largest platforms around. Also ETH 2.0 is coming up, and the whole issue is that people are getting fed up by delaying the new release of Ethereum. Well, it's technology, and it's not uncommon when stuff delays, as nobody really knows what they get through in the process. So once it's there, I assume the hype is going to be heavy, and right now the hype is starting up on DeFi already. So I think Ether is one of the assets that if you want to step in crypto and have a safe basket of coins, then Ether is certainly in that basket. So if you know, I'm more a technical guy. The YouTube channel is going to be switching more towards FA later on. But right now I want to include everything, but right now the more fundamental part on the TA side is that what I've been saying in the previous videos is that the overall interest in altcoins is increasing since the halving of Bitcoin went away. So I'm stating that since then, we've seen altcoins popping left and right because of the overall sentiment switching in the market, and the overall, Bitcoin just consolidating gives the extremely nice habitat for altcoins to move around. And probably altcoins have been saying, okay, the halving is over, the halving hype is over, so then we start to release our updates, as since then the amount of new updates on roadmaps, releases, mainnet updates, staking, whatever there is literally higher than the months before. So we've seen Zilliqa moving, we've seen Cardano moving, we've seen altcoins popping left and right, and I still believe that there is a higher interest in altcoins right now than in Bitcoin, once Bitcoin is just consolidating sideways. However, if Bitcoin makes a drop, it's still interesting to buy the dip. As we are technically above a few indications that are in a bull, that are needed for a bull territory. Aside from that, Bitcoin has been the main indicator of bull bear movements in the previous 2 years, which was still bearish obviously, but we've had some upward cycles in between, in which Bitcoin rallied from 3 to 14k last year as well, while altcoins were not entirely doing the same move. They were lagging behind heavily. And what you see right now in the total market cap, for instance Bitcoin itself, it's back at price levels of February 2018, April 2018. While altcoins are still hovering 40% below the support of 2018. So they have a lot to just get back onto the levels as Bitcoin is right now. So the best conclusion you can make is that Bitcoin will start to grind up in the coming months. Maybe correct a bit more to 7.5k, but continue the grind after that. And altcoins will heavily outperform BTC. That's also what you see in the previous cycle in 2016 and 2017. And it seems likely that we're getting there again right now. And we're seeing it already. The altcoin market cap is looking better and better and better. And when that one starts to move, you can see those heavy movements on altcoins with like 10x movements or movements you were not expecting the past few years, as everything was bearish and nobody expected Zilliqa to move from like 70 cents to 300. but I feel like it's just the start. If you watch the Ether Lend token AV, you can see that on higher time frames it just retraces beautifully, makes an SR flip, and then another 2x, ending up with now being up 42x. So I guess the altcoin climate is getting better, and that's why I'm still focusing mostly on altcoins right now, as they just provide great trades. Which what I'm saying is that why would you want to focus solely on Bitcoin right now, trying to catch a move on that one for a few percent, when you can look at altcoins and trade them when they provide better setups, and you can actually use the underlying asset USDT on most of them as well. Or you can just stay in BTC, have BTC as your base value, and trade altcoins to BTC, in which you assume that Bitcoin is going to be increasing the few next years. As there's also still a debate on whether Bitcoin will crash when the economy gets destroyed, or whether it will go up, and there's arguments for both sides, and we simply don't know that's true. But I'm on a group that expects Bitcoin to be one of the biggest performers in the next years, as it's maybe providing a solution for a problem we have with our economy. So if you have BTC as your base coin, or like base asset, then trading altcoins is fairly nice right now. If you have USDT as your base asset and you want to trade that, then still altcoins are providing you brighter options right now than BTC is. So I don't get it, but like, people have different strategies, and that's fine, but I'm sticking to this. In the structural uptrend, what I just said, in the structural uptrend of BTC, altcoins perform the best. If BTC drops by the dip season, we've witnessed some drops in the past days, and since then some altcoins have been jumping back heavily, or even stronger, like Polymath is doing really well. Verge is already up like 60% since that drop. So if Bitcoin drops 20% or like 10%, it's providing you a buy the dip option. And in a bull market, retraces or corrections of even 30 or 40% are not unnatural, but they are an opportunity to step back into the market, as when it bounces they usually don't come back to the price. On Ether, both the BTC and USDT pair are compressing and accumulating, which means that a large volatile move is coming up soon, which we have also witnessed on Zilliqa and Cardano. So let's take a look at Ether USD right now, in which we can see, or let's just say, that this whole range is an accumulation range, just like Zilliqa has been moving inside an accumulation range, between like 40 to 95 sets or 50 to 95 sets, and once it breaks out of that accumulation range, that's when the whole impulse move starts. So what we can define from this one is that we have got a support over here, and we've got a clear resistance area in between these zones. Probably this one is lower. Yes, that's the correct one. So this area has to be broken. When we break through that level, there's basically not many levels in between a heavy rally to the upside. This is not clearly any level at all, but like the next real zone after $300 is $500, and after that you can just expect that we can continue to rally even higher. This is a level, and this is a level as well, which is almost 1k. Short term, yes, definitely. We might even get to another drop down towards 250, 220, just like we've witnessed here. We have to hold here, and then we can continue the moving upwards. But if we zoom out and we have the whole cycle, like we have seen Amazon doing in 2000, or like any other asset that has been going through a bubble and accumulates after that, this whole period is just accumulation. There's currently an increasing volume coming up. There's an interesting 100 day, 200 day MA flip over here, which is, as long as it provides support, we can have that upwards momentum. So what you want to see right now is that we have taken the liquidity on the downside and are uptrending right now, in which we don't want to lose $200. If we do, and if we do keep it and we start to attack the range high here, I would not be surprised that above this level we start to accelerate. And then what I said is like this zone here between like 425 to 500 bucks is the next resistance zone. And then the whole perspective changes, as then we finally have a higher high. And then the best opportunity you can have, or what you can look for, is a retest of the range high before we continue the next move. So technically Ether is looking quite good, as it's also compressing. The trend is narrowing more and more and more, which means that at the moment that it breaks out of this compression and breaks into out of this range as well, a heavy move is likely to occur, which we have witnessed on Zilliqa and Cardano. And in this case, we've also already taken the lows, the liquidity on the downside. It seems more likely that we're going to take the liquidity above us rather than going back down again. But as I just stated, we could go back towards the 200 area before we continue to move to the upside. But once we continue to grind and take this high, I assume we're going to rally further, and then the whole momentum in the market starts to switch some more even, as we are finally making a higher high. And then we come back towards Ether BTC. We can see that there is a large compression here as well, and compression means that levels previously are tested for support. So supports get tested, support resistance flip, another support resistance flip in this zone, double bottom structure. Now you don't want to see it go below this level in which we have held here, and now you don't want to go below this level, and then you get a triangle structure after which the breaker is going to be a heavy impulsive move. Similarly, on the upside, we can see that we've tested the previous resistance area over here. We are testing the level over here as resistance as well. And over here we're doing the same structure, in which we are making lower highs, higher lows, compression, building a band, squeezing 100-day, 200-day MA coming in for providing support, similar to Stellar. If we hold green and break to the upside, it's expected that we could rally towards here and make a higher high. And it's similarly to the area over here in which you also see the compression, and after compression you have a heavy impulsive move. Similarly, if we break below this low, it could be expected that we drop further down, but with the fundamentals kicking in on Ethereum, it's less expected to see that occur. So yes, I'm currently really bullish on Ethereum and on other altcoins. So let's check some other altcoins, as we have been discussing Cardano. And Cardano showed a similar example of what's going to happen after a breaker of the range, in which you see that there's compression as well, 10 months accumulation range, breakout of the range, and right now we've hit the next target zone, which is defined from previous levels, and are currently consolidating, which it might be expected that we do something like this and then continue to rally to the upside. So what I previously thought is that if something starts to move, it's not providing you an entry. The entry zones are based on OBs or support resistance levels you have defined earlier. So in this case, there's an entry here, which is more or less likely to just make a scalp trade in which you just want to make a bullish structure before we continue. But the previous resistance zone is here, through which the overall, as I just stated, the overall best entry zone is between 650 and 700 Satoshi. And once that holds, we make another higher low, we get another support resistance flip, and then we can continue grinding to the upside, in which it is even not unlikely to have 1300 sets as the next level. Negative side, if we lose this zone, then it's likely that we're going to test the lows of the range here again. But right now, as you can see, it moved up heavily. Everybody was discussing Cardano in this period, and right now it's consolidating, so it's less interesting for engagement. But during these periods, you can actually give or get a nice buy the dip opportunity if there is a clear support resistance flip. Then the one that's been heavily discussed recently, XLM. It's starting to look a little bit meh. I have to agree that on the short term. Larger time frame, you can see that there is accumulation going on with volume over here. We have been tapping the resistance many times. It's quite similar to 10.5k on Bitcoin. Another test here in which you don't want to lose this level. So yes, we could even have another dip down in which we tap the liquidity below this low here. So we drop a low here. If we reclaim the support, that should trigger that we're going to test below above this range resistance, as we have taken the support and confirmed again for support. So if we reclaim, we might get another drop down. Reclaim of this level is your entry trigger, as then we're going to test resistance again. And given that we have tested it for 4 or 5 times, I'm assuming we're going to rally towards 14 cents. So what you should be watching is that we hold above this zone here. If we do, the structure is still intact. We're still making higher lows and can continue. So this one is still looking okay. XLM, BTC, the exact same story. Preferably I want to see this hold, but it just shouldn't get below 100 day and 200 day MA. And if it doesn't, and we start to grind back to the range high, assume we're going to break above towards 1250 or 1500 sets. So that's Major Saturday for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like beneath, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, or just send a reply. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend.